Welcome to Tuesday, June 17th, 2025. Your day weather podcast brought to you by ConverseCountyTourism.com. Fuel the energy of Converse County. Explore Douglas's railroad heritage, Ayers Natural Bridge, and the Jackalope legend. Glen Rock boasts scenic trails, dinosaur history, and small town charm. Plan your visit at ConverseCountyTourism.com. Well, we're going to see another round of severe weather. Probably quite a few of you may have been woken up in the middle of the night by some thunder and a lot of lightning and some showers and thunderstorms, overnight thunderstorms that don't happen very often. Were triggered last night by approaching trough of low pressure, and it was enough to set off thunderstorms even at night, and it'll do that again today. So we're going to have another round of severe weather likely. We'll show you where. Now, again, it's mainly going to be east of the Front Range areas out into the plains, while much drier air continues along and west of the divide. Warm, dry air that's west of the divide gets a push east. So after today, we're going to have a break from these severe thunderstorms, which have been very common for better than a week now, and it's going to really warm up right as we go into the first day of summer, which I think is arriving on Friday. However, as we have been hinting at, there's a cooling trend coming next week, an unseasonably strong upper low coming in the Pacific Northwest. What does unseasonably mean? It basically means it's a lot stronger than you would expect based on climatology, but these happen. And we're going to see a situation where here we are into the first full week of summer, and it won't feel that way in some areas of the West. Another great round of photos coming in over the last 24 hours from the activity that has fired up across the region. Clouds building, showers and thunderstorms taking off. And then, again, we're going to call Douglas, Wyoming, the lightning capital of the world. Another great shot of a lightning bolt there in the Douglas area yesterday. The Casper area saw quite a bit of heavy shower and thunderstorm activity develop across Natrona County late yesterday afternoon and evening, and some continued into the overnight areas. And we also had some big thunderstorms, and we call these supercells in the northeast counties of Wyoming yesterday afternoon. This is a supercell developing near the Gillette area. You can see, if you look, you can see a lot of structure to this. And then that led to a lot of shower and thunderstorm activity elsewhere. And then here's a great shot, a lot of structure here, of a supercell that was near Sheridan, Wyoming yesterday. You can see the rain and hail shaft here. You can see a shelf cloud forming, probably some rotation. The thunderstorm so big it took up the whole frame of the image here. And today we're going to see some supercell activity developing again. Now, that same thunderstorm was so large, got a lot of photos, a lot of people saw the same cloud, a lot of good mammatus clouds formed underneath that thunderstorm in the Sheridan area yesterday afternoon and evening. So just a lot of mammatus clouds, a lot of mammatus photos as we've been showing you here over the last day or two. And even into the Bighorn Basin yesterday, some good structure with those showers and thunderstorms as they came to be. There's another great shot of mammatus clouds, this time between Valentine, Nebraska there and along the Pine Ridge near the South Dakota-Nebraska border area. Boy, the photos of mammatus clouds over the last few days have been quite remarkable. So we're going to see another round of these clouds that will be looking like this today in many locations. And what you saw from this thunderstorm complex that developed along I-25 yesterday, well, pretty large hailstones. In fact, overnight, we had some reports in some locations of baseball-sized hail with some of the thunderstorms that formed in the overnight hours. And even early this morning, took a snapshot of this about 4 a.m., a lot of thunderstorm and shower activity in the overnight hours continuing there, especially across parts of Wyoming, Nebraska, into Kansas there. As the day unfolds, what you see on the satellite imagery is a lot of those overnight showers and thunderstorms. You can see the high cloud tops here, but notice we've got an area of cloudiness back here. This is because a small upper level low is coming in. This upper low is causing lift and instability in the atmosphere, and that's why thunderstorms were developing overnight It's because the atmosphere was becoming unstable overnight, and I'll show you why that happened. You might be saying, well, we didn't have the daytime heating. How could we have overnight thunderstorms? Well, we'll get into that here in a minute. The upper level low, about over the Salt Lake City area early this morning. One thing you have to keep in mind, when you see lows on maps where the low pressure systems are, the atmosphere is being lifted ahead of the low. So the weather doesn't happen straight under the low, it happens in front of the low. And in an area kind of like this, where the atmosphere is being lifted and instability is coming in. So you see where that line I just drew? That's where the showers and thunderstorms developed along that axis during the overnight hours. So if we were to zoom in a little bit, where I highlighted where that low was over the Salt Lake area, this happens in the summer. It's very subtle, but if we were to follow these black lines, you see we have a dip right here. We have a very subtle dip. This is showing areas of what we call geopotential heights. You could also say that this is kind of like pressure, but when you see these dimples, even a little subtle dimple right here where there's curvature in the flow, you have some things going on aloft. What are those things? Well, this is probably the most important. What I'm showing you here are air temperatures in Celsius at 18,000 feet. What I want you to notice here is that out here we've got 7, 8s, 9s, and 10s, okay, below 0 Celsius at 18,000 feet. But notice back here where the low is, that this is real subtle, but this is all it takes. Notice there's an area right here where the air is colder at 18,000 feet. Between the contrast here of the cooler air here and the warmer air aloft here. So when colder air aloft, high up, is coming in, the atmosphere becomes more unstable because the colder the air is aloft, the easier it is for air to go up. And if it goes up, if it's forced up by a lifting mechanism, that's going to cause the instability in the showers and thunderstorms to develop. This same area here of cooler air is going to advance eastward, and that's why, as we'll show you here in a minute, and we talked about this yesterday, while this area right here is going to be a real area to watch later today as this cold pocket comes through. We also have something called vorticity, where the air is spinning, counterclockwise spinning motions of air coming along the flow ahead of the low. And that's what you see here with these colors. So these colors are also showing you where the instability is. And there we've got that moisture again. We've got that higher humidity air banked up against the mountains along the divide. Look at all the dry air back here. We'll talk about that here in a minute. So basically what I'm showing you is this, the table is set for another round of severe weather. And this is where it's going to be. And this bullseye right here is going to be showing up in a lot of severe weather today in eastern Colorado, Kansas, but along this yellow axis and the darker green axis as well, you need to watch out for some strong thunderstorms. I know there was some incredible footage of tornadoes in parts of southwest Nebraska late yesterday afternoon and evening, and those same storms, that same pattern is going to be shifting a little bit further south. Now, beyond that, we are going to see the weather change with that dry air I showed you west of the divide. So this is the tornado risk today. This is the hail risk today. So it's going to be a busy day, evening across the region. By noon tomorrow, this upper trough is now headed towards the Great Lakes. So you see the curvatures changing. Now we have, instead of a little trough, we have a little ridge building in here. So this is going to offer up an opportunity for the dry air west of the divide to come in, and there it is. So by tomorrow, we see a lot of brown patches moving in. The darker green colors are shifting east and away. So if we kind of step through the next few days, this is tomorrow, and then we jump into Friday. There is going to be some shower and thunderstorm activity for Montana and Idaho here. For the desert southwest air coming in, well, for Colorado, Wyoming, these areas here, it's going to dry out as that nose of dry air comes in. We'll have some showers and thunderstorms over the higher terrain down here in the green. But look at the dry air really coming in by Saturday. So you're not going to get any thunderstorm activity of any consequence, at least. Much, much drier desert air comes in, and so you're going to have a big warm-up. By Saturday morning, that desert air gets forced in. So what you're going to have is a big warm-up and a few days where thunderstorms will take a break. But here comes the next weather maker. So this is a strong system, as we mentioned, for the 21st of June, crashing into the Pacific Northwest. High pressure builds in behind it, so this system is going to want to dig south and east as it comes in off the west coast. Now, you're going to get a lot of heat here in this part of the nation. It's going to make headlines. They're going to be talking about all of the heat and the misery here, while it's going to be the opposite on the other side of the nation. And you can really see this here by next Tuesday, the 24th. Heat building along the East Coast, making news. This should be making the news as it will be unseasonably cold in the Pacific Northwest and Northern Rockies as it comes in. As that comes in, we're going to see a big shift in temperature. Now, first of all, temperatures today will be well below average there in the green and the blue because of this trough and the rain and the showers and thunderstorms. But I'm going to step through the next few days to show you the pendulum swinging as we go into the next 7 days. So these are the temperature anomalies for Thursday. Friday, Saturday, look what happened Saturday. Along the Front Range plains, look at the heat. Summer heat building. Wow, it is going to be a hot one right here this weekend. We're going to get into the 90s, maybe triple digits underneath that area right there. But look at the contrast. We've got 20 to 30 degrees above average here. We've got 20 to 30 degrees below average there. So there's a lot going on here for June, third week of June, there really is. That's by Saturday. By Sunday, the cool front by noon gets a bigger push east. The heat gets pushed out into here now. But look at Canada. Look at western areas of the United States. Even down into Mexico here, temperatures are going to be going below average. And then by Monday, that cool air spills over the divide and out into the plains. And if we take a look at the temperature pattern between Sunday and next Friday, you can see the temperature anomaly in the blue covers a lot of the western United States, a lot of western Canada. So that's going to really cool things off. And yes, what you see here on this map is the potential for snow in the high Canadian Rockies there, even the mountains of Idaho, Montana, Oregon, Washington, and look at this, Wind River Mountains, Uintas here, maybe the Bighorns, the high mountains of Rocky Mountain National Park. Could it snow? I think certainly up here it will. I think up here the opportunity for snow up high is a possibility with that trough early, let's say during the first 3 days of next week. Something we'll keep an eye on. Have yourself a great Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow.